Ooh, look who woke up early. Not you, them. At 2, not p.m. a.m. When the world was quiet, when excuses were asleep, when courage was pretending. That's when you scared them. Funny, right? You weren't loud, you weren't armed, you weren't moving. You were just aware, and somehow, that was enough. They leaned forward, checked the clocks, checked the files, checked each other's faces, because something doesn't panic at 2 a.m. unless it already knows it's late. You see, people who are harmless don't cause emergency whispers. People who are small don't trigger backroom meetings. But you made grown systems. Start asking childish questions. How did they see that? When did they notice? What else do they know? And that's when the switch flipped. Not publicly, not proudly. Behind your back. Smiles stayed friendly, doors stayed open, but underneath, plans sharpened, rules bent, knives polished, because they decided something at 2 a.m. If you could scare them without acting, what would happen if you ever did? So they didn't confront you. They prepared for you, and tonight, you're finally hearing what started while you were silent. 2 a.m. Nothing moved, nothing breathed, except the clocks. And yet, somewhere in the hollow silence, the world tilted. They didn't notice it at first. Sleep-addled eyes, careless hands, empty minds. Then, a twitch, a flicker, a pulse they couldn't name. That's when the first one realized, the first of them to register that something was off. Funny thing about fear, it's rarely loud at first. It creeps, slithers, inches into your skull like smoke. You didn't scream, you didn't strike, you didn't even move fast. Yet, in the pit of that stillness, you were seen. And that was enough. Ooh, the panic didn't arrive all at once. No, it needed time to bloom. Their delayed horror, deliciously slow, spreading quietly, imperceptibly from desk to desk, from mind to mind, like a whisper they couldn't hear. They asked themselves questions they didn't dare voice. Did they notice? When did they see? How much do they know? Each one smaller than the last, each one louder in their heads. You might have thought they were prepared for fear. You might have believed you were invisible, but no. Even in silence, your presence became a shadow in the room. A shadow they couldn't chase, couldn't trap, couldn't erase. And so they stared, fumbled, hesitated, realization sinking in like ice water. You had no plan, no weapon, no announcement. You simply existed. And somehow that shattered their fragile order. Ooh, the taste of it, their delayed fear, that moment when awareness hits. And suddenly, everything they believed about control crumbles quietly, invisibly. While you watch, 2 a.m., you didn't need to act. They already knew. Ooh, they whispered your name, not to your face, never to your face. Doors closed, lights dimmed, and there, behind polished wood and muted voices, they gathered. You weren't on the list. Not an invite, not a chair, not even a thought they were willing to admit. But you were everywhere. In the glances that lingered too long, in the hesitation before they spoke, in the way the papers shifted nervously beneath their hands, in the silence after their words. You were a ghost, a shadow they couldn't shake. Ooh, funny thing about meetings like that. They're meant to organize, control, strategize. Instead, they revealed panic. Not the kind of panic that shouts. No, the kind that seeps under fingernails, slides into bone, and whispers, "We misjudged them." They tried to map you, chart your movements, predict your thoughts. They debated, calculated, argued, all the while forgetting one thing. You weren't participating. You weren't reacting. You weren't even aware of them. And that's what made it worse. Every secret plan they concocted folded against itself, like fragile origami in a hurricane. Their eyes darted, their hands twitched, their teeth clenched. Ooh. And here's the delicious twist. The more they plotted, the more obvious it became that you were already 2 steps ahead, not because you tried, not because you knew, but because you simply existed. Your presence, unseen but undeniable, unraveled them quietly. They met, debated, whispered, and when they left, nothing had changed. Except them, uneasy glances, shuffled papers, doors closing just a little too loudly. Because now everyone knew a hidden force existed. They could neither name nor control. And somewhere in that chaos you smiled, not loudly, not visibly, just knowing. Because meetings like that aren't for you, they're for everyone else. To realize they're already losing. Ooh, yes. You weren't there, but every word they said was about you. Every plan, a shadow of your silent power. Ooh. You see, they were waiting for noise. A yell, a shove, a signature move they could predict, something tangible, something they could blame. But you gave them none. No chaos, no alarms, no footprints to follow. Silence, absolute silence. And that, my friend, is a weapon far sharper than anything they imagined. They asked themselves over and over, why aren't they moving? Why aren't they reacting? Why does this feel wrong? Funny, isn't it? Silence carries 1,000 accusations. Every unspoken word, every unmade move becomes 1,000 little horrors. They project onto you. Ooh, the hidden test wasn't for you. No, it was for them, to see if they could survive. Without witnessing fear, without provoking it, without controlling it. And they failed. Of course they failed, because you didn't give them anything to hold on to. Nothing to argue about, nothing to panic over, nothing but awareness. You existed, and that alone shattered their confidence. Ooh, every glance, every hesitation, every stutter was a confession of their own weakness. They feared noise, but the quiet was the mirror they couldn't escape. And while they trembled behind closed doors, you walked through the night untouched. Every heartbeat, every breath, every second, reminding them of what they could not predict. That's why silence scared them more than action. Because action can be seen, prepared for, countered. But silence whispers secrets. Silence unveils truths. Silence proves that even without moving, you are already ahead. Ooh, so let them quake in their chairs. Let them scribble and debate. Let them invent ghosts where none exist. Because the strongest strike isn't loud. It's invisible, it's quiet, it's you. 2 a.m. and they are already undone. Ooh, did you think they were innocent? Did you imagine that after 2 a.m., the world simply returned to sleep? No, not even close. While you rested, or perhaps watched, calmly. They began their quiet war. No sirens, no headlines, no announcements, just whispers, closed doors, shadows moving like liquid behind walls. They unleashed hell, quietly. Every office, every back room, every corridor, buzzed with plans you weren't meant to hear. Maps, charts, files, tiny dominoes stacked to topple. Someone, you, ooh, and the beauty of it. They didn't want you to notice. No confrontation, no direct attacks, just a slow, suffocating pressure, designed to corner you without you knowing it. They sent agents of doubt, agents of misinformation, agents pretending to be friends, smiling while poisoning air around you. But here's the twist: you didn't panic, you didn't play by their rules, you didn't flinch. And ooh, that's what drove them mad. Every trap you ignored, every rumor you dismantled with one glance, every silent countermove you executed without a sound. They were monsters in their own little clubs. Thinking power came from secrecy, and yet all their careful plotting was visible to you, like an open book in moonlight. Ooh, can you see it? The desperation, the tension, the way they believed they were controlling the storm, while in reality, the storm was watching. Every whisper became a confession, every closed door a scream, every quiet plan a monument to their own failure. Because hell isn't loud, hell doesn't announce itself. Hell is the realization that you are untouchable while they are scrambling blindly, cutting their own hands in the dark, chasing shadows of someone who never even moved. And that, my friend, is how quiet chaos becomes absolute power. Ooh, they tried logic. Oh, how they loved their neat little equations. Plans, rules, contingencies, lined up like soldiers. And you were the wild card they forgot existed. Every strategy they deployed folded against itself. Every trap they laid snapped back in their own faces. Ooh, the delicious irony. The more they pushed, the clearer it became. You were already beyond their calculations, a moving shadow. They couldn't measure, couldn't predict, couldn't catch. They asked themselves questions they couldn't answer. How does silence dismantle our systems? Why does inaction strike harder than force? How can someone do nothing and still W? In paradox, the quiet storm, the unseen hand that leaves chaos in its wake. Ooh, and here's the kicker. They didn't even realize the game had changed. They thought they were hunting, but they were graduating to a level they didn't earn, to a truth they weren't ready to face. Every push against you was a lesson they failed to recognize. Every whisper, every manipulation only revealed their own weaknesses to themselves and to you. You didn't strike, you didn't react. You simply existed, and existence in your case was a force they could not comprehend. Ooh, they were monsters in their own little narrative. Angels of control turned frantic, clubs of secrecy undone from within. Every move intended to bind you, only tied their own hands. They created a web, and you walked through it untouched. The paradox? The tighter they tried to trap you. The more freedom you claimed, the more they tried to control, the less control they had. Ooh, can you feel it? The thrill of being untouchable. The intoxicating knowledge that every attempt to corner you was just another mirror, reflecting their own failure. And in that paradox, you smiled, quietly, because they will never solve it. Ooh. The first time it hit them, they thought it was a fluke, a mistake, an accident. They had tools, methods, influence, power neatly packaged in predictable forms. And yet, nothing worked. Every maneuver, every whisper, every carefully timed strike bounced back onto them. Ooh, do you see the beauty? They believed in their own mastery. They trusted their systems. They relied on control, and control was exactly what slipped through their fingers. They tried subtlety. They tried pressure. They tried guilt, charm, even threats. And each attempt was met with nothing. Nothing but calm, nothing but awareness, nothing but you. Ooh, the realization didn't arrive softly. It crashed, heavy, like a storm breaking glass. Impossible, they whispered. Immune, they thought. Untouchable, they admitted quietly in the dark. And here's the twist. They feared your immunity more than any strike, because now it wasn't about plans anymore. It wasn't about dominance. It was about truth, and truth exposes weakness. Ooh, each tool they wielded, each tactic they believed would bend you, broke instead, shattered in their hands, reflected back at them, revealing desperation they couldn't hide. Angels of order turned monsters of panic. Masters of strategy became amateurs in their own rooms. The walls they built to trap you turned into mirrors, showing their own helplessness. Ooh, and you didn't revel in it, not loudly, not yet. You simply watched, because there's a difference between victory and realization of immunity. One is loud, temporary, the other is permanent, undeniable, and terrifying. Ooh, can you hear it? The soft hiss of panic, the crack of their confidence breaking, the quiet collapse of influence, because they finally understood. You cannot be touched. Ooh, this is the part they never planned for. No alarms, no declaration, no dramatic takeover, just a shift, a quiet one, so subtle they didn't notice it happen until it was already done. You never announced war, never raised a banner, never claimed a throne, and yet, look around. Who's reacting now? Who's watching the doors? Who's afraid of silence? Not you. Power didn't arrive like a crown. It arrived like gravity, unseen, unarguable, impossible to escape. Ooh, they tried to reverse it, reframe the narrative, rewrite the story, convince themselves this was temporary. But power doesn't ask permission, and it doesn't go backwards. The angels they pretended to be, gone. Masks cracked, wings burned. The monsters they feared, still imaginary. The real terror was simpler. They no longer mattered the way they thought they did. Meetings stopped being decisive, plans stopped carrying weight, voices stopped sounding confident, even to themselves. Because now, every room adjusted to you without you entering it. That's the shift, not dominance, not control, orientation. The world tilted and chose you as its reference point. And here's the cruel joke. They can't undo awareness. They can't unsee calm. They can't return to ignorance. Graduation is irreversible. They passed you the power by trying to contain it. And you didn't change. That's what destroys them. You remain quiet, observant, unbothered, while they orbit, a presence that doesn't chase, doesn't threaten, doesn't need permission. Smile softly, because this wasn't conquest. This was recognition, and recognition is forever. And now, watch closely. They still wake up at 2, still check the silence, still listen for movement that never comes, because power like yours doesn't advance, it waits. Every choice they make now passes through a question they never wanted to ask. What if they're already aware? Hesitation infects everything. Decisions slow, confidence leaks, authority sounds rehearsed. They don't chase you anymore. They adjust around you, build policies for ghosts, prepare defenses for calm. That's the final cruelty. You became the standard, without declaring it, the pressure point, without touching anything. And deep down, they know the truth they'll never say aloud. If you ever moved, this would already be over. So they sit, they wait, they pretend, while you remain exactly where you are, not rising, not striking, not proving, just present. And presence, when fully realized, is the only power that doesn't need permission to exist.